Hi everyone. I'm trying something different. I'm bringing you along while I cook. I've already put some things together. So I am going to stay with someone and her children starting tomorrow. She needs to be at the hospital taking care of someone, and I offered to stay with her kids for the period of time that she'll be in hospital. And I am so excited because she has two daughters, and she is going to give care. I am going to give care. I've done this before for someone who needed to go because like they had a minor procedure to get done, whether it's to get your appendix removed or sometimes you have like a small injury or, that it doesn't resolve and then you go to hospital and they're like, yeah, you need minor surgery. And let's say if it's on your hand and you favor your right hand or your left hand, whichever hand, the dominant hand. So the dominant hand, they take you through a procedure or you get some stitches and they tell you don't move your hand for some time. So you see like small things like cooking, cleaning will be difficult to do. I like to do that for people. I genuinely love cooking and cleaning. And since I'm a feminist, that has come with a bit of shame sometimes because I'm like, ugh, I want to be a sort of woman who hates cooking, who doesn't even, but I'm a nutritionist and this is who I am. So I'm not going to apologize for who I am just because I despise the patriarchy and I'm not going to let what the patriarchy thinks affect, how I behave, like adjust my behavior for convenience. Okay, chill. I'm removing the cord from my rice cooker because it's the rice cooker I'm using to prop up my phone. Because I thought, like, what else will leave enough room between the phone, the speaker, all that. Or let me check that I'm on airplane mode so that no one interrupts this because I would be so sad. Airplane mode activated. Okay, because people just randomly call you on a Saturday night. I've given my girlfriend's permission to do that. Like, I would stop watching a TV series to do that. So anyways, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sharon Ogugu. I am a health coach, nutrition educator, health educator. I love talking about health and wellness. And I love cooking, as you have gathered. And, oh yeah, there's light. It's like a ring light. Nice. So I'm trying to figure this out while we go along so that the picture is not too dark either. Okay, so you're literally right over my cooker. So there's, I wish you could see it. It's so beautiful. I will show it to you when I get tripod stand or a stand for my phone and whatever. So I got chicken wings. I used to be first vegetarian, then vegan before I came to Germany because it just worked for me. Part of my heritage is that I'm Seventh-day Adventist, meaning we predominantly, like, we either eat halal or we just don't eat meat at all, usually. Yeah, so we also not batch made like cookies. So if you know an Adventist who eats pork, please don't ask me why they're eating pork. That's their personal decision, okay? Yes, so welcome to my kitchen. I'm making chicken wings today. Oh yeah, why did I start eating meat? Because I came to Germany and the food was horrible. Like, horrible to my taste buds. Waiting for all the hate. Anyone who has lived in Africa or I was going to say the Middle East, and I'm not sure anymore, or South America, like where you grow your own food and you have spices, India, Asia, you can relate to this because it's usually us who complain about like the food quality in Germany. And then I met a German, a professor of mine, during a class trip who said, I used to think German food quality was really good until I ate food in Africa. And I was like, the head of my program was in the queue with us. I turned and looked at her and I was like, you see, you hear, one of yours has admitted it. Like, our professors are really dope people. Some people disagree. Me, my lived experience with them is different. And yes, I am sort of a teacher's pet. And honestly, it's because I like to participate in class because I genuinely enjoy school. I have ADHD. I was usually punished for being a daydreamer or having lots and lots to say sometimes. And by punished, I mean the daydreaming, I was beaten proper. I was constantly told that I had potential. It's like I never lived up to my great potential, is what I was made to feel by many of my teachers. Some of them understood I was very creative and encouraged the creativity, and those teachers helped me thrive. Even the ones who taught me math, I will never forget Mr. Keru. When I joined class 8 white in St. George's Grassland Academy, I had a 28% in math. Oh, I'm making stories while the chicken marinates. So those are chicken wings. So I had a 28% in math. I'll come back to that. I'm practicing how to jump from story to story and try and pick up the thread, because that's the sort of thing I struggle with. I have smoked paprika from Kenya. It had to come from Kenya. I trust our spices. From a Somali-owned shop in Rongai. It could have been Isili, but the people I used to send to Isili are now grown. My children are now grown, and they are like elsewhere in other parts of the country and the world, so can't send them anymore. Then there's biryani. Oh, and before my child sees this and complains that I didn't send her to Isili and she wanted to go, yeah, Tracy, before you complain, you had exams. I was not going to send you during exam season. That's biryani masala. This was bought here, I suspect. I'm guessing because it has some Arabic on it, very likely at a shop belonging to someone. Oh, this is a product of UAE. Okay. I'm going to say Turkish, but I can't say because I got it from my auntie's kitchen. Her storage, where she has spices. Because she's a Kenyan woman who has spices everywhere. So she had some spices, like, you like it, take it. So she gave me this. She lives in Germany. And then this is Birnenkraut. It's like spices for beans. And I feel like the spices they have for basically anything that has herbs is really good. Like the herb blends are actually pretty decent. Now, I do not know where they grow herbs in Germany, but we shall keep praying for them. And then this is brat Hähnchen. So I don't know what brat is, but I know it has paprika, curry, and for them curry has coriander, kokoma, that's kakama is cumin. No, kokama is the yellow one, turmeric. And then zenf is mustard. I don't know what kreuzkümmel is. I don't know what this chili. I think it's spice. Speise is many. No, what salt? It's like spicy salt. I forget. Knoblauch is garlic, fenchel. There's cardamom, there's black pepper, and other things, including onion. I'm guessing dry onion, rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano. Petersilia is God, I know these things. Chili. Anyway, they're herbs, and I trust them because the regulations for health and declaration are quite, the standards are high here in Germany with regard to declaring what you're poisoning us with. And then in here, in my steel container, mixing bowl, I got a set of these. So there's this, and there's another one, like up to the big ones. If you've seen any of my clips where I'm cooking, I use them for mixing. This is like one of the best things I've bought, and it has a rubber base. So like even when you're mixing with a proper mixer that usually everything goes everywhere, it doesn't move, it doesn't keep shaking. Of course, please place your hand on the thing still. So I crushed some garlic and I added some of these herbs because they usually, like, the flavor leaches into oil. And then of course I added salt, and so that I can just use this as an olive oil. And so I can use this for whatever I feel like cooking, okay? I don't believe in heating. I think there's black pepper in here too. The only thing missing is turmeric because it's anti-inflammatory and I love it. Garlic has really been helping me with some of my issues. And I will share very honestly about some of them. During winter, I tend to get a lot of yeast infections, like recurring. And then we share as women, we have our WhatsApp groups, especially after the age of 35, we talk a lot about health and how everything has changed. How even like lubricant, if it's the wrong kind, and the wrong kind here is flavored, I'm saying this over food, ironically, like how that throws off your pH, your vaginal pH. So it's just, if a man is not hygienic, it will throw off your pH. If he's a smoker, I learned that recently from a registered nurse. She's Muslim, she's amazing. She's open, honest. She talks about things we don't like to talk about, which is why I follow her on Instagram. I will look for her and link her profile on the show notes. Let's just call this a podcast now, yeah? And then what else? I'll put it in the description box. What else will I put in there? No, I'm not going to give you like the names of the things. Just please look for them. So yes, garlic has really been helping me with my gut health, which suffers immensely during winter, because everything suffers during winter. Mental health, sleep, the desire to exercise, the desire to stay alive. And I struggle with depression. So I've been looking for ways to, excuse me, not sneeze, but add joy to my life. And one of the ways I have been adding joy to my life is cooking. So like, it's already dark outside. The sun started setting at like 4 p.m., which is when I got inspiration to post something on LinkedIn. Because being SDA, I'm always guilty about thinking about work on a Sabbath, on a Saturday. So anyways, so here we are, waiting for the chicken wings. I'm just going to give them like a few minutes while I gist with you guys. And then I got peppers. Give me a sec. Colored peppers. Why? Because red. I tell people to eat the rainbow. Red is great. Yellow is great. Orange is great. You need to eat your colored fruits and vegetables. This is where you get a host of vitamins. And the ones I can think of, particularly off the top of my head, vitamin A, which is relevant to this season when you need to build your immunity. There are people who are suffering out here with the cold and other things that cause you to suffer when your immunity is compromised. And when is your immunity compromised? When you're stressed. And like literal, so there are people who think, oh, but I'm not stressed, because you're thinking about it. But your body is stressed when the sun has disappeared. Do you know the sun makes you happy? Have you noticed when the sun is out, even here in the abroad, people who are usually cold and indifferent smile at you more, wave, their kids come run up to you and talk to you. And you're like, you guys are different in different seasons. And I've had Black people say this about Germans as well. So it's not in my head. I'm going to pause so that I can blow my nose, because my mom and my grandfather taught me there are things you just don't do in public. So nose blown, hands washed and dried. And I'm going to take this so that I can keep using it to dry my hands. I don't usually use it to dry dishes, because I let utensils drain. And then when they are dry, I put them in the cupboard, which is on this side. Then there's another one here. Then this is where I have the other stuff. There's something I'd like to show off. And it's kind of heavy. My knife set. So I got these knives because for the longest time, I've had this fantasy about being a chef. I got them on Amazon. I went to clean at a client's house that has a color scheme I love, black and white. And with touches of gray. I like neutral colors, but I also love earth tones. And I love changing color schemes. So this is the thing. I picked some inspiration and decided to just tap into my creativity. And I want to say this to parents. Please encourage your kids to tap into their creativity, because it's a great way to release stress. Whether it's the stress of grief or the stress of being different, if they're differently abled, if it's the stress of being a different size from other kids their age, or just the stress of existing in this world, being a girl who's bullied by a boy, being a boy who's bullied for hanging out with girls, being like whatever. Kids can be, they can be a lot sometimes, and I love children, but even I think they can be a lot sometimes. So Mr. Keru, my math teacher from class 8, he encouraged me to be creative. I got into my class, and the last exam I had done, I got a 28%. By the time I was leaving, after doing the exam every child is terrified of in class 8 in Kenya, I had an 80-something% in math. Like, I basically had an A in math. It wasn't anything other than his encouragement that got me there, okay? So I want us to just learn how to encourage our kids to tap into their potential, okay? And don't push them. One of the things I've told my daughter, who's finishing off campus, she's one of my many kids, but she's the one I'm primarily supporting. We've recently, yesterday, just great news, we are done with school fees. And when we were just celebrating, we are very alike. Kids do what you do. So because she could see I'm cleaning, she went and cleaned. She raised some money. Anyway, she's worked very hard. We are happy that she's finishing school. So, and I'm really looking forward to her graduation because I didn't really celebrate mine. And I feel like hers just is a very big deal. Okay. And not just that, I'm also in touch with her BFF, who is my other daughter, who sells these. Okay. And my aunt is the one who's gotten sponsors for so many of these kids to get like an education, and my hats off to her. My mom has also educated kids. I come from a long line of women who believe that motherhood is caring for all the children you can care for, which is why when I meet people who are like, oh, you have such a big heart, I'm like, really, this is normal for me. My grandmother's house is there are people who are more welcome there than I am. Like, and this is not even to throw shade at how anything. We just adopt kids in my family. My uncle has done the same, raised kids other than his kids. My other uncle is also very good with kids. It's just a thing that's normalized. And that's why even my ex's family was so attractive, because they just welcome children into the compound. Like, children are just picked. You're bright, come, let's find someone to educate you. And so I love that. I absolutely love that. I think people also need to develop boundaries. But as someone who struggles with caring too much, apparently, I don't know, I think figure that out with your therapist. So anyway, let me wash these potatoes and then I'll be back. Okay, so the potatoes are washed. I'm just going to cut them into wedges, again, while we keep talking, or rather while I talk and the rest of you listen. And also a chance to show off my Santoku knife. I love this knife so much. It is sharp. And I like the way it's shaped, and it just makes me happy that those people I watch on YouTube who use these nice knives, I have a knife like them. I have a thing for chefs, and I haven't dated a chef. I don't think I ever could, because pride. I keep thinking, like, you'll cook better than me, but how? And I have been with men who cook better than me, but usually it's like meat. So I keep telling myself, still, you're not impressing me. If you know how to make vegan dishes, correction, anyone can make tofu look good. I know I said it, but if you can make whole foods, plant-based meals taste good, I'll add a challenge. And you're not Seventh-day Adventist, ask for my number, because like I like a challenge. If you can make broccoli taste good, if you can make using natural ingredients. Now, can we please talk about natural ingredients, because that's another buzzword that y'all are out here asking me about. And recently had a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and she's like, yeah, you know, I was using fenugreek, my period disappeared, and I don't think that's healthy. And I'm like, why do you not think that it's healthy for your period to disappear? And I told her I'd refer her to an OBGYN who was like, look, many women are out here trying to make their period disappear, because the alternative, having your period, is such a painful, debilitating process that you'd rather not get your period. Now, I'm talking about the period while slicing food. I know, but stay with me for a minute here. If you, and I've noticed, actually, this isn't the first time people are bringing this up. And by people, I mean women who have consumed a lot of information, like, and the information sounds a lot like this, but like, where does the blood go? And I'm like, okay, let's go back to biology class. What was a period? It was your uterine lining has thickened over a period of X number of days while preparing for a baby, for you to get pregnant, that is. So you did not get pregnant. So what happens? That lining that was growing, that was thickening in preparation for housing a child, like being a soft, cushiony cradle for a baby, breaks down and gets out as period blood. What does birth control do? It tricks your body into not going through the process that will create the thickening of the uterus that will eventually break down and come out of your body, right? But there's stuff like fenugreek, which some women have told me works for them. Like, when they use fenugreek, they don't, get their period. I went online to look for scholarly articles that have anything negative to say about fenugreek. I only saw some which were inconclusive about possible liver damage. I worry about consuming something steadily in large amounts or small amounts over a period of time and not knowing how that's affecting other things. Like, what if the fenugreek is not harming you in small quantities, but it is in large quantities, you know, or taken over a period of time? That's what I would worry about. And it's the same with anything else. Like when we're out here taking sea moss, or we're taking ashwagandha to help with our anxiety, when we take melatonin, which I have taken to help me deal with sleep, how is that affecting everything else? Because our bodies are very cyclic. Is there anything else that you're noticing? So for instance, I was warned against by a nurse, and I trust nurses more than anyone in the world, especially those who've been in the practice for a long time, those who've worked with children, those who, you know, have worked with the elderly. I don't know, just those people who just have a heart for medicine. I'm not saying emergency room nurses don't have a heart for medicine and for people, but I'm allowed to feel what I feel, leave me. So, some of these nurses have told me, yeah, have you considered this? Have you considered that? And why I trust nurses is because they're the ones who sit with the patient. And when I used to work in hospitals, they're the ones who would notice things. They would notice if the patient is not eating. They're the ones who notice, oh, since she delivered her baby, she's been walking, she's finishing more from her plate. You know, and the cooks as well in the hospitals, they're the ones who tell you, madam, this one, today she didn't eat. She threw all her food. And then now you can sit with your patient and go like, yeah, you've been reported, what's going on? And they're like, oh, you know, I'm just stressed, my child hasn't come to visit me. And then the nurse will corroborate the story and tell you, yeah, by the way, her people have not come to visit. And then you ask, you know, is there a number we can call? And sometimes, you know, it was, oh yeah, I lost my phone and I couldn't come. Mark you, I'm talking about people like low income communities, people who travel far to come see their loved ones in hospital. I remember this one time, this lady was really, really sick, and the only person who'd come and visit her, she lived in a slum, was another lady friend who did the work she did, which was domestic work. It was daily. Like, she'd go clean people's houses, wash their clothes, then go back home. And that's walking, a lot of walking for like an hour or so sometimes, or more. And that's one way, by the way. Then there's the trek back in the evening after doing back-breaking work. And so when this lady didn't show up for a day or two, you know, you could see the patient deteriorating. And then so you find out, is there something I can do to make it easy? And they're like, look, the times that visiting hours are crazy. So you talk to the nurse and the guard so that they're allowed to come in even during other hours, like especially during feeding time, so that they can feed the patient. And then, yeah, welcome to healthcare in other countries. And that's why I just worry about how healthcare is practiced here. There's such a removal of the humanity, I feel. And I think there's hope in having Black and brown people and Asians get into the nursing work. We had this conversation with someone, he's native German, and he's like, you know, he also has questions like, so what if it's problematic for, you know, Black people to work with these people who are older and statistically tend to be quite racist, like overtly racist. You know, they literally make you feel bad for having dark skin, even when you take care of them, like when you're emptying their bedpan. And I mean, at the time I was like, yeah, you know what, that is problematic. But you see, we don't have a choice. You think we are coming here to endure the snow because we have left mansions and running water back at home? And I'm not saying Africa is a village and we sleep on trees. Please, that's not the narrative I am pushing here. Don't take my words out of context. What I am saying is, when you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice, you know? I'm here cleaning houses and doing all the stuff because, for starters, I have been cleaning all my life. I started washing my uniform when I was probably 10, which is like my younger daughter's age. And definitely she started earlier. And I was supervising. I told her, just rub the collar a little. She's like, yeah, oh my gosh, my hand is turning red. And I told her, leave it, I'll finish for you. And she was like, no, but I want to learn how to wash clothes for myself because I'm a big girl and mom said that she's taking me to boarding school one day and I want to know how to wash my clothes so they're clean and da-da-da-da-da. And then I held myself together because I was like, yeah, she's opinionated like her mother's, leave her. And I want her opinionated. I want her to normalize. If someone interrupts her in a boardroom, she's like, excuse me, I hadn't finished my train of thought, and continues phased. Those are the children I'm raising. Yes. Inspired by the woman who told me that I was looking to be trouble for married men when I told her I wanted to be single. I was only a teenager. She was like, so do you want to get married? I was like, no, I don't want to get married. And you know why I said that? Because my mother has never been married. That's my normal. Anyway, I digress. The potatoes are in there. I don't want to add any oil because, you know, like meat has its own oil. Any meat really, whether it's fish or chicken or red meat, try normalize cooking without adding oil. And I did add a little bit because I wanted that garlic infused olive oil, blah, blah, blah. And the potatoes need some coating. They have better consistency that way. But, and Kenyans, please listen to me. Normalize using a tablespoon full of oil to cook food for 4 or 5 people. It's not the oil that makes the food taste good. Correction, it is. But the food can taste good with other things. Those things are called herbs and spices. Yes, and yes, your children can eat paprika, turmeric, a little bit of black pepper. Look, have you noticed how healthy Indian children are? Children of Indian descent. Have you noticed? Even you Kenyans, have you noticed? Because we have Kenyan Indians or Kenyans of Indian descent. You know, they're one of our tribes. Have you been interacting with them? Stop hanging out with your tribes mates. Walk around, eat other foods. You know I make fun of how Njeri I am because I love potatoes, and some of my closest friends, most of my closest friends are Kikuyu and Luo, which is why I tell everyone I am Lelo. You know, I was a Luo wife, almost wife, for a while. So like, just try other cultures, try other foods, try other methods of cooking. I joke about cooking like a white girl. I love potatoes. I love beans. I love mushrooms. Try other things. What's the worst that will happen? Okay. I want to slice these peppers. I want to use half of everything. And I like my peppers fresh. Now, when you slice open fruit and vegetables, oxidation takes place. You know, you notice that more in bananas and in avocados and apples. They start to brown because the oxygen is reacting with the surface nutrients, and yeah, this brownness, and yes, so it's oxidative stress, and oxidation is a problem. It's bad. I don't want this to become a whole chemistry class or food biochemistry class, which by the way I was not even very good at biochemistry. So forget enzymatic reactions. Just remember this. You want to slice this just before you eat it. Even with your oranges, you know, I'm down to my last 2 oranges because I'll be away. Let me cancel. Okay, it's too late. My phone goes off. I mean, gray at this time, and it's already starting to. So it's slice your orange just before you eat it. I've mentioned to you that garlic has really helped with my issues, my girl issues. So because my pH has been a mess, and I've been taking this constantly. This is like yeast infection pack. So there are 3 tabs. Finally down to the last one, and this happens a lot to me during winter. What causes yeast infections? We are now wearing more layers. Like right now I have 2 layers of pants because I was outside, and I came here to talk to you because I enjoy your company so much. So so this is one of the suppositories that you push in up your vagina, and then it sits there, and eventually it will come out, and you even notice like the yeast coming out of your body. Not a fun process to watch. And yes, it's funny how I'm saying this over my food. So I leave the medication here because this is the only place that is room temperature. My room is warmer, and I don't leave the cream out. Now, ladies, the cream is in the fridge. The cream that you apply to your labia when you have a yeast infection. So I leave the tablets here because I know most medication needs to be either cool, room temperature cool, or lower, like fridge cool. So I leave that in the fridge because I think it's the most hygienic place and where the temperature is not fluctuating. And then I also leave this up here. So this is Omnibiotic Woman, which is lactobacillin. It's lactobacillus. Must be lactobacillus. It is bacteria. And what is this? It is bacteria that you use to reculture. This is particularly aimed at, you can see a woman's body there, right? It's particularly aimed at, you know, repopulating my vaginal area, my vagina, my birth canal, with lactobacillus, lactic acid bacteria, which is good bacteria, because if there's an imbalance for whatever reason, stress, too much heat, change of pH, what changes your pH? Sex, and not just sex, but like level of hygiene of this person. If they smoke, if they use alcohol and they don't brush their teeth and they go down on you, saliva, the mouth is one of the most filthy places. Yeah, and I know you're asking what about, and then also like when people have sex, there's, and I've heard this from many women who noticed some of their issues disappeared after they left their marriages. They're like, wait, I've not had a yeast infection in the longest time. Or after they get off birth control, they're like, you notice small things, like you start to remember small things, like how if you used flavored lubricant, like the lube is fine, it's water-based, but it's flavored, like strawberry flavored or whatever flavors, if you use like these condoms that are studded for extra pleasure, if you used flavored condoms, there are women who are allergic to latex, like the actual material used to make condoms, and some of them discover when you're using latex gloves to do something and then your skin develops a problem, whether it's a rash or whatever. So imagine what that's doing to you on the inside. So when you get these infections, sometimes it's just your body trying to tell you this is not working for us. I have had to eliminate scented soaps. Usually during winter, I have to eliminate scented soaps. I literally become a proper Adventist woman, health reformer, either using something that is for babies or not. And then also I'm like, the shampoo is blue. Do I want to use this? And then do I want to rinse all the way down? And some of that runs over, my nether regions. So lots to think about. Taking lots of vitamin C, which is good for your immunity. Taking omega-3. There's omega-3 for children and for adults because it's flu season. Get some for your kids, and they're flavored like gummies. The strawberry flavor. It's fish oil, tasty yucky. If you want your 2-year-old to eat it, give them a gummy. Also be careful, it's a choking hazard. It gets sticky. The peanut butter is also a choking hazard for young children. I will slice my peppers later. I want to put my things in the air fryer, which makes a weird loud noise that I don't want you to endure, especially considering that I am done telling you my stories and showing you my spices and cooking with you. Then the picture that comes, like the food, when I'm done plating it, I'll take a picture and I'll share it as the thing, the thumbnail photo for YouTube. Look at me learning, all these things while we are evacuating from TikTok. I'll talk to you about the womb tea later, although I already have, kind of. If you have questions, just ask. Ginger tea, fennel, caramel, anise. I think that's star anise. Yeah, definitely star anise, I think. No, I don't know. Either way, it's herbal tea. Peppermint tea is great. And then this is the fenugreek, which I also got. And it really helped with my period pain. So it's just that, like, now I'm not sure where we stand. Like, is it causing other problems? Will it cause other problems? Yeah, but let's see how everything goes. I'll keep you posted on the repopulation story because I've been put on this for like 2 weeks. And yeah, I can take one a day or I can take anyway. And I've been asked, of course, if I take antibiotics. Ladies, another thing that is making us get yeast infections endlessly, antibiotics, because they are anti the microbes, good and bad. Antibiotics don't get into your body and say, we are going only after the bad bacteria. Let's go. No, they kill all the bacteria. So even your good bacteria needs to be repopulated after you've taken antibiotics. Stop taking antibiotics like strepsils. Okay, just stop it. Because the day you develop antimicrobial resistance, you will weep. And we will not know how to hold you because, yeah, it's bad. I've seen multiple drug-resistant tuberculosis in Kajiado. You don't want to get that sick. You don't want to be confined to a hospital for the rest of your life. Yeah, the rest of your natural life. I have horror stories. There's MDR, there was MDR then, and there's XDR. We keep saying TB and Atiba. TB does have a cure, but if you are taking raw milk, you developed brucellosis, you used TB medication to treat the brucellosis because it's quick so that you can go back to your normal life. And lots of us do that. You have a bit of a cold, you go get antibiotics. You have a bit of something is bothering you, you take antibiotics. Oh, I think I have a skin infection. You don't know whether what you have is fungal, bacterial, or viral. By the way, you can have a viral cold. Pay a doctor, like Dr. Naima, the small fee of 2,000 to 3,000 shillings and tell them, Doc, I need to get a second opinion. I have a recurring cold. This is how it feels. Take pictures if you have swollen tonsils, if you have pus in your tonsils, if you have tonsil stones. You see all those things I've just mentioned. I know this because I associate with doctors. I see children. I see them develop conditions which they don't need to develop. So let's pay attention to how we are eating, how we are feeding ourselves, for ourselves and for our children's sake, please. Do it for the children. If not for you, because we women are very self-sacrificing, do it for the children. Sawa. Stay happy and healthy. Look at me using nail polish these days, you guys. Look at me. I'll see you in the next video. I'll be doing a babysitting gig. I think I'm going to talk to you about that with the consent of the parent. I will not show you the children's faces. I love children. I wouldn't do that to them. So yeah. Is there anything else I want to talk to you about? I hope you're sleeping. If you're struggling with sleep like me, lean into it. Just honestly, not everyone can afford a trip back home. Like I'm planning to go back home in a few weeks because I've just told my aunt, look, I want to stay alive. This money I'm making is not just for, I'm done paying school fees, ya mtoto, my child is fine. And she's even gone to look for an attachment. She's so independent. So I need to go home. So, needless to say, I am stupidly excited about going home. And I have projects I'm working on, an actual podcast to leave this thing that I am doing here, which I take very seriously and I appreciate you all. It's just this feels so casual and I'm in my PJs and my hair is not done. Yeah, so no, my hair is fine. I should calm down, right? It's just it's poking out. I'm supposed to look professional. So I'm going on and on about everything and nothing. Again, it's because I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking, as you have gathered. I enjoy talking about food. I enjoy talking about health, especially women's health. If you need help dealing with winter blues, people have been randomly asking. I do offer those services and I have an affordable rate for people of color, especially if they're students. There's a discount for students who are also children, like people of color. So the discounts increase the more marginalized you are. Okay, I appreciate the struggle. Again, bye for real this time.